Princess Dart bustiers are so beautiful. This blouse that you can see on the screen, you can see how the cup is and everything is made with a Princess Dart. And in this tutorial, I shared how this lovely blouse can be made. Happy New Year to you, fam, and welcome to another interesting tutorial. If you're seeing my channel for the first time, you're welcome. I'm Dimma, and in this channel I share lots of fun sewing tutorials, sewing techniques, pattern drafting and cutting, and also sewing. If this sounds like what you'd be interested in, then you have to subscribe and turn on your notification bell to be the first to know each time I upload my lovely videos. So now in this tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how I made this gorgeous and lovely blouse, but not with the sleeve. In my next, I am going to share with you how I made this structured sleeve, this structured gong sleeve that you can see in this video. This is to make sure that this video will not be too long and you will assimilate very well. Now let's get right into it. To make this beautiful blouse, I will start with the pattern making. And to make the pattern of this blouse, I first started by making a line or drawing a horizontal line at the beginning of this paper. This is just a starting point. You can actually leave it off if you don't want it. Now, having made this line, the next is to take my standard neck measurement. I use 3 by 3. You can use 3.5 by 3.5 if your client is plus size. Now I had to draw the neck with the armhole part of my pattern master. Now, having drawn that, the next thing is to measure the shoulder. Shoulder measurement divided by 2. I marked it. Then marked 5 inches there and had to take my across chest measurement. Okay. Now this is the shoulder as well, and I will be ruling a vertical line to mark my shoulder. Having done that, I will go ahead and this is the across chest that I am measuring again here. And then I dropped the shoulder tip by 1 inch and connected to the neckline. Now the next thing to do is to mark the bust measurement. Okay, that is the bust measurement divided by 4. If your bust is 40, you divide by 4 to get 10, and that is what I just measured there. Now this is the front half length, which for my clients is 17.5. Okay, then I will go ahead and rule a line across there, just like so. Aside listening to what I'm saying, pay close attention to what I'm doing and you'll understand. Now I'm using the shoulder measurement across chest and then taking it to the bust measurement, to get my armhole measurement. Okay, so that is what I use to draw this armhole. If you're confused about what I'm doing for any reason, you will have to see the basic Bodice Block and Torso Foundation video. I will link it up in the description box. So here I'm measuring the bust level and then bust to bust. Bust to bust is 7 and I mark 3.5. That is half of 7. And I marked the same 3.5 on the waistline and then marked ½ inch on both sides of it. I had to drop my bust by 1 and then ensure this at 3.5 mark as well. I connected the dart to this mark. Okay, observe that I didn't take this dart to the bust point. It's actually at 1 inch from the bust point. Okay, now having done that, I just had to mark the under bust. Feel free to take it from your shoulder down to where your under bust level is, but what I took is from bust point to 3¾ inches below the bust point. Okay, now I'll mark ½ inch this way and then 3/4 the other way, this place. Good. Then I connected to the waistline. This one did not touch the dart leg, but this very one towards the center front, I connected it to the dart leg. Okay, now connect this to the bust point as you can see me do, and also connect the other part to the bust point. Now, having done that, I'll measure the middle of my armhole. Like if the armhole is 9, you just take 4.5. Now I dropped 1 inch and I'll be connecting this to the bust point. One inch drop, and I connected it and extended this very one because I'll be measuring 1 inch just like so along that part, and I will connect this just like so. Now I am taking the side bust dart, then measure 1¾ inches is what I used here because this is the difference between my front and back half length. That is what is used for the side bust dart. All the places I'm shedding are the places that will be going off at the end of this pattern making. Now mark the blouse length. That is what I'm doing. I use 25 inches as the blouse length. Feel free to use the blouse length you desire. Now, having done that, I'm measuring the waists along this front half length. Okay, this is the extra from the darts. I measured the darts plus the extra from the bust tightening. Okay, so you measure waist plus the dart intake. That is what will give the measurement. Here I am taking the hip. The hip measurement is what I'm using to construct the blouse hip, okay? And that is it. Now I had to come up by 1 inch and I'll be connecting to the hem of the blouse like so. And that is it. Now I'm completing the dart leg. I had to ensure that it's at the middle, that is 3.5, which is the bust to bust mark, and I'm connecting to the dart leg. Note that the waist is simply waist measurement divided by 4 plus dart intake, okay? Now I came in here by 1.5 and then dropped the neck by about 1.5 as well. I connected like so because this is how I want the neckline for the front to be sort of high but enough to showcase any jewelry worn. I'm just extending this line to the hem of the blouse, and that is it. Here is the front pattern. I have to flip my paper to make the back pattern. Now I'm making another border line at the beginning, just a starting point, as I did for the front. Now measure your shoulder divided by 2, and then the neckline is 3/1. That's what I used for this very basic back neck. Connect it like so. I'm taking the shoulder measurements and connecting a vertical line for it like so, and I'm measuring the across back at the level of 5, and I measured 7.5 inches there. Now this is the shoulder slope, which I sloped by 1 inch. Here is the bust measurement divided by 4, and that is what I just marked, just like in front. If you have 40, divide by 4, and that will be 10. You just draw a vertical line. Now I'm measuring the back half length, okay? Back half length is 1¾ inches less than the front half length. That is why the side bust dart for the front is 1¾ Now I just took the armhole measurement and I am connecting it like so. Now this is the back tightening. I tightened it by 3/4 inch, and then I'm using that as a guideline so that it doesn't pass the end of the armhole level, okay? Now that is how I connected it at the center back there. The next thing to do, I just did the measurement, took the measurement from waist to the hem of the blouse for the front. That is the same I took for this back. Now, having done that, the next thing to do is just to take my waist measurement, waist divided by 4 plus that intake, okay? Measure this from the tightening. You have to take this measurement from the tightening, not from the center back, from the tightening. Now connect to the armhole like so. Now complete the tightening like this. I'm just completing the tightening to the hem of the blouse. The side I'm shading will be going off. That is the back tightening. Now here I measured the hip level just like in front, and I took the hip measurement. Hip measurement divided by 4. You just mark, use it as a guideline to, draw the blouse hip. Observe that I didn't get this hip to the hip measurements, okay? I just ended it at the blouse hem. Now this is the 1-inch curve that I also did in front, and the place I shaded will be going off. When I cut, I'll be putting my darts. Now this is how I want to drop the back. Feel free to drop your back the way you want it, right? If you want it lower than this, feel free to do that. If you want it higher, feel free to do that. Now I measured 1.5, just like in front, by the side of that neck, and I am connecting to make a V at the back, okay? Here I'm just trying to see the best connection for this back drop. I just connected that. And yes, this is what we have as the back pattern. The next thing to do is to cut out and then cut on fabric. Here I'm trimming the back tightening because it's not part of this pattern anymore, and I'm cutting out the back pattern. Now this pattern, you just place it on fabric and cut out for the back. Watch what I'm doing with the front. I will go ahead and cut every part that is needed for the front. All the shaded parts will be going off. Trim the hem like so, and then cut the whole sides, as you can see me do. Guys, if you are enjoying this tutorial, do well to like, comment, let me know what you think about the tutorial. It will really help me to know if you are flowing with the videos or not. If you like it, do well to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell to be the first to know each time I upload my lovely videos. Now here I'm trimming off every part that is not part of this pattern. Now having done that, I'm going to open the side bust dart and watch how I'm going to close it up. Now this is how to close it. I'm going to use my masking tape to tape it down, and that is it. Now this is the front pattern complete, and here is the back pattern. So I'll just go ahead and cut it on fabric. Now this is the fabric. I actually didn't know my camera did not capture the back side, but all I did was just to place the back pattern and cut it out on this fabric, okay? This sequin fabric that is mixed with velvet, okay? Now this is just how you pin it down and cut out. I just added like 1 inch to the hem and 1/2 inch on this side. I also took like 1.5 inches on the side as well. This side is 1/2 inch allowance. I like adding my allowance while I cut on fabric. I don't add it on the paper. Okay. So having done this, I will also cut for the front. Now here I am marking all the allowances so that stitching it will be very swift and easy. Also notch the bust point and the on the bust, very important. Now I'm placing the center front like so, and I'll be cutting it out as well. I'm using 1/2 inch allowance here and 1 inch at the hem. Now this side is 1/2 inch seam allowance and 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, now I'll keep the remaining fabric to be used for the sleeve. The structured sleeve tutorial will be my next tutorial and you won't want to miss it. Here I'm marking the under bust and the bust point. I'm just notching it, very important. Always notch the under bust and the bust points. Here I'm going to also notch the bust point and the under bust point. Okay. With this, it will be very easy to join the fabric together while sewing, because this will make the landmarks to be very visible and you can easily match them. Okay, you see that center front, very important to notch. If not, after the pattern making, you may not know exactly where the under bust or the bust point and the rest are. So always notch your patterns. I just wanted to have more curved hemline, and that is what I'm just doing. I joined the side front with the back by the side just to get, a uniform curve on the hem. Okay, and that is all for this cutting. Here I've gone ahead to apply the hasty on each and every one of these fabrics. Okay, I applied the hasty from the reverse side, the wrong side of the fabric. I did not iron on the right side, please. Now this is the back. You can see how I put some, thickness on the neckline using pepper gum, or you can use gum stay. Okay, now this is the center front. I used hasty to pad up that bust area because this is more like a velvet fabric that is, structured, that is sequin, that sequin is applied on. So I used that hasty not to overwhelm it because it's more like a light fabric. Here you can see how I padded the lining, and I'll also go ahead and put hasty, no gum stay to the neckline. Here you can see the parts. I've put the darts on the back and also stitched the darts for the lining. I will go ahead and join it on the neckline appropriately, notch and top stitch. This is also the front. I've joined the bust princess dart cut. Okay, this is what it looks like. You can see how the hem, the lining dragged in the fabric. Okay, watch the hem. Yes, the lining dragged in the fabric up so that nothing will make the lining show on the hem. Okay, now this is what I will do for the front. I want to show you how I did it. I've stitched the neckline and gone ahead to iron. Now watch closely to see how I made this lining to drag up the hemline of this blouse. Now after joining your neckline like so, just trim off about 3/4 inch from the hem of the lining. Okay, when you trim it off 3/4 to 1 inch, you can now close up, turn it over like this, and then stitch it. When you stitch it, it will automatically drag up the fabric. Now this is what I have, and you can see how it dragged that hemline up. So this is what it looks like, and the side is like so. So what I'll do is just to join the side, fabric to fabric and lining to lining, because I don't want any surface stitch showing on this blouse. Okay, so I'll join it fabric to fabric and lining to lining, and yeah, this is the shoulder, and that is how I also joined it, fabric to fabric and lining to lining. Now this is what the Princess Dart Bustier blouse looks like now. Looking so lovely, looking so nice. You can see how the cup is. If you want to get exactly this, then you have to follow the method I used to make this dress. I've fixed the zip here, and you can see how lovely it's looking. The next step is just to go ahead and fix the structured sleeve, the structured gong sleeve, which I will be explaining in my next tutorial. If you really enjoyed this tutorial, do well to like. If you think anything about it, just do well to comment. Do well to subscribe, and also turn on your notification bell for more interesting tutorials. Thanks guys for always stopping by to watch my videos, and I don't take any of them for granted. You can see how lovely the structured gong sleeve is looking. This sleeve is a must watch. Turn on your notification bell to be updated of when I will upload the next tutorial, which will be very, very soon. Thanks guys for always stopping by. Love you all and wish you all a happy and fulfilling new year. God bless you all. Bye. Love you.